one day I'll record my own music, so if I ever get this out on Spotify or whatever, it doesn't get flagged for fair use music.
Yeah.
And we are back again with another Dragon Con episode with my buddy SKS Props.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, I'm glad you're doing this finally. So this isn't going to come out for a couple weeks, so all the things that you can talk about, go ahead. So all the stuff that I know is going on that you want to talk about, feel free.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, I'm SKS Props, Steve. You can see a lot of my work at SKSProps.com and pretty much SKS Props for all the handles. And about a year ago at Dragon Con, I met up with my buddy Scott Pope, and we had some grand ambitions.
Oh, yeah.
And those ambitions were to bring a new type of foam to the industry. You know, as foamsmiths, we determined that there are lots of different foams that are on the market. Some of them have their good qualities, some have their bad qualities. We wanted a foam that I could literally put my kind of stamp to. A foam that was easy to work with for people that are brand new, that it's great to work with for professionals. And so, over the last year, we have gone through numerous trials, tests, tribulations, and brought HD foam to the market last March, and it was really, really receptive to the community. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome. I've been messing with some of it, and it's, I gotta say, it's pretty top notch with the stuff I worked with. Because I went from craft foam to Harbor Freight floor mat foam to TNT foam to messing with a few other kinds of foam, and just I like that HD foam, man.
Yeah, it's smooth.
It is smooth.
I've heard the term buttery goodness from time to time, and that is the big thing. Is like when you start off, we're all using Harbor Freight foam. I mean, that's what we all learned on.
Yeah.
But because of the way it's manufactured and all that, I mean, it's tough to work with.
Yeah.
You know, you don't think about it at the time until you have something to compare it to.
Yeah, it's good for practice, or you want to try to bust something out that you can make patterns off of, or to test patterns. But
yeah, definitely.
But for what we do, higher quality stuff, it needs to be more durable.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If you want higher quality foam, it's smooth on both sides. It comes with less imperfections in it. You know, it sands and cuts very, very well because almost everybody has a Shore 38 hardness. Mm-hmm. But the difference is with HD foam, it has a higher density per inch than most of them, which is why it cuts and sands so well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been really, really cool. It's been a new type of pride that, I've sold lots of props over the years.
Yeah.
And I've inspired lots of people to build over years. And all those people, when they come up and they're like, oh, you inspired me or you sold me this, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But this is a new type of pride, giving people a product and seeing them create something amazing, and I'm kind of part of that process as well, and that's been really, really cool.
You've been a valid member of the community for years now, from starting out from your time on Cosplay Melee to doing all this awesome shit that you're doing now. It's just all the stuff you're doing is literally it's fantastic. Now you got the HD foam. You're gonna be cornering the market soon, and I'm just gonna watch the ride of goodness that's gonna happen.
Yeah, and that's do you want me to go ahead and
you can say what it is. I'll post this after the fact.
Awesome.
So you can take
whatever
you want.
Yeah,
man.
so this is kind of like inside knowledge right now.
Right now.
But we're gonna fast forward this, and it's gonna be happening today for you.
Yeah, if you're listening to it that day. I've known about it for a while already.
So we've got huge plans for HD foam. Like I said, it's been very well received by the community. A lot of people have really gotten back behind it, and I'm really pleased to announce that I will be at New York Comic Con and coming up here very shortly, and I will be making a complete custom armor set all out of my HD foam, and it will be on display at New York Comic Con. And you're asking why, Steve? Why are you doing this in a month? And the reason is that it will be the official launch. I will be partnering with Blick Art Materials, and they will be carrying HD foam from here on out, online and in store. which is going to be absolutely amazing for the community. Just because of the fact that those that have Blick stores around, you can easily go and pick it up.
Yeah.
But for those that don't, Blick has an opportunity that I don't as a major retailer, where they have shipping that's a lot cheaper, or if you add a certain dollar amount, your shipping is free.
You cannot go wrong with free shipping
And
at all.
that's the whole thing. Is like so many people complain about premium foams because shipping is expensive.
Yeah.
And giving that opportunity for people to pick up higher quality products and now not have to worry about spending an extra $10 to $20 on shipping. They can put that back into more art supplies.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
More materials for other building, or more painting, or more for ceiling. You know, because we got with being having free shipping, it's gonna, like I said, definitely help you corner that market, because you know Lumen's Workshop, TNT Cosplay Supply, and all those other people who bust out foam for cosplay and prop making, you got to pay for shipping. Now, say if you support those companies, you want to do so, by all means do that and support those companies. I'm not saying don't, but you know, with free shipping, that's just going to help us be able to, like, instead of being able to buy like one box set of 10 mil foam for armor, now we can buy two.
Right. And for the people that are not familiar with Blick, I was in illustration. I was an art student in school, and we had to shop at Blick. So you've got like Hobby and Lobby and Joann's are at their own level. Mm-hmm. Blick is the step above. Like, they're known as the fine art store. Like, they carry extremely high-end paints, brushes, canvases. And the biggest thing I told them when we met up originally was, you guys are a hardware store without lumber. You have everything for cosplay, except for one of the main things that a lot of people use for cosplay.
Yeah.
So they carry Flex Bond. They carry every paint known to man. They carry Warbler, and
sounds like I gotta start shopping there.
And
which actually I'm going to.
But that's the cool thing is, like, now it's like a one-stop shop where you can get your foam, you can get your paints, you can get everything you need from Blick, and then it's still supporting me. It's still supporting the community, because it is still my brand. I'm partnering with them. I'm selling the products through them, because distribution is just going to be that much better for the community.
Oh yeah, for sure. And also, like, say, a lot of our friends who are excited about it have been working with it and have had sneak peeks of stuff that you got going on. And we're all on the same page of that. This needs to be the thing for everybody. Because like I've seen the props that I've been seeing you build. And when we were at C2E2, it's carrying around your tech shotgun from Cyberpunk. It is like, still a lightweight foam. You can carry props around, but like if it bumped into something, it wasn't going to be damaged or.
Right, and that's another really big point that you bring up too, is convention use. Yeah. I mean, so many of these cons nowadays are putting regulations on resin props, and and having props that are really cardboard or foam. Yeah. And the great thing about foam is that it weighs nothing. It's extremely durable. It's very easy, in my opinion. It's easy to manipulate, easy to work with. Yeah. And for those of you that are foam smiths out there and you haven't used my product yet, I keep getting all the time like, well, what's the difference between your foam and everybody else's foam? And the biggest difference that I can tell you is that by having someone that is really, really familiar with foam like myself, I can kind of pick out those good things and bad things that every other brand has and kind of incorporate and, in my opinion, give you the best quality possible. Yeah,
because I know you and Pope were working out with your manufacturing, changing the composition of the foam itself to get what you guys were requiring. And I can equate that to what me and Jasper and me and Odin were talking about in the previous episodes. Is just like, you've been working with this stuff, you know what you're looking for. It's like watching makers you follow, taking their skills into forming your own thing. You're taking all these aspects of different foam into what you need to do to make HD foam what it is today.
And that's all on the construction side of it. Yeah. The other thing that I love about it is that it's light gray. Like, my manufacturer, that was one of the first things I did, because when we were looking through companies and overseas, almost everybody is black foam. Yeah. Because it's the cheapest, it's the easiest way to do it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I cannot have black foam. I want gray foam so I can use a pen or a pencil, on there. I don't have to use a metallic Sharpie to get on my lines because I can't see what's going on. But also the whole point to the gray foam is for people that do a lot of work in progress photos on Instagram, on Facebook, those makers that are out there that are influencing the community by doing videos, gray shows up so much better. You can see the details that much clearer than you can on the black. The black obscures a lot of that.
Yeah, this hammer I'm working on for a cosplayer friend, from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, is like have been taking some progress shots, and it's just like I'm getting detail in those photos that I wouldn't get with black. I'd have to have a lamp shining in a separate way just to get a different depth of field in the foam itself.
Definitely.
But like the gray foam, being what it is, it's so nice not having to go get a special thing to color on it and get a pen or a pencil. It's nice because when I was using TNT foam, instead of using the silver Sharpie they send, I'd go out and buy white charcoal pencils to use as like white on black. You can see that straight, nice, easy line to cut to. But instead of spending, $4 on 2 charcoal pencils that you're probably going to lose.
They get lost in the shop somewhere.
I've lost so many of those.
Yeah, I actually use pencil on all of mine. I have illustration pencils that I use from back in the day, and that's what I use to transfer all my templates. And the detail that you're talking about, my props I've been building lately, that's relatively like that's direct correlation to I have a pencil that I'm doing my template on. I'm able to see a lot more accurately where I need to cut. Like when you use the Sharpies, it bleeds a little bit more. It's like are you inside the Sharpie, on the line, outside,
That's why I like using the charcoal pencils on the black foam, because it's like straight line, it's not going to bleed over. And also, I just get that nice little round nub, it's one solid line, and if it's a little dusty, I can like go just blow on it, even though it might create some little like marks on the foam, but that's not my line. But with the pencil, so nice. It's so nice, Steve. You have no idea how much joy that fills me out. I don't have to like worry about my lines.
Yeah, and the other thing, like, for those that are listening, and obviously I'm biased to my foam. I love my foam. My whole thing was like, if I'm building, what foam do I want to build with? And this is just my personal opinion. And again, there's lots of different companies out there. I'm not telling you guys specifically HD foam is the only way to go. What I encourage everyone to do is go try all of them and find out what works for you. Like, try Yaya, try TNT, try Harbor Freight, try mine, see what works the best, and then
doesn't Cosbon have their own line of foam too?
Zach Labs, I think he's got something. They don't ship. It's all local for them. But he does have a line that they're trying to do as well up in Seattle.
Yeah, you got Lumen's Workshop as well.
There's lots of different brands.
But
I'm the only one with that light gray foam.
You only do with the light gray foam. So I know Grace.
And if my voice is cracking, I apologize, guys. This is day 3 into Dragon Con. I lost my voice this morning. I have finally got it back.
And now he's doing my podcast because he's a good friend. So how's Dragon Con going for you? Because you're not doing any costumes.
No, Dragon Con this year has been completely different. Normally, you guys know me. I bring like one really elaborate costume every year to Dragon Con, and this year I didn't. This year I brought a Borderlands Psycho costume, and my buddy Jason, roommate here, who is extremely fit and like looks amazing. Like, I was like, "You want to wear my Psycho?" And he's like, "Of course I do." So we got him all painted up, cel shaded and everything, and he looked amazing.
Yeah, I saw it. It was pretty dope.
And that's a huge transition for me over the last couple of years of building a lot of props, building elaborate costumes, to now seeing other people enjoy what I build. So like, he had a great time. I was happy that he was having fun wearing it. But the other part to this Dragon Con, it's been amazing to see all of the fans come up, and they will run up to me and go, "This is all made out of your foam. Your foam is amazing." And like, That is awesome. That's a whole level of pride that I've never had before.
Yeah, I think it was like you talking to. Was it what were they wearing? Because I think I walked by when they were talking to you, or I was actually standing right next to you. Because there's two people in this badass armor that we were talking to last night.
The Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Armor.
Was it the Monster Hunter?
There have been this con has been awesome because there have been numerous people with my foam in their armor builds.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It is. That's just because that's just the thing. It's like get all this awesome shit that people are building out of your product. That's like the feeling that must give you is just give you a high in itself.
Yeah, it's like I'm a little part of all those because it's not even just the product. Most of these people know me. They follow my builds. They follow my YouTube. They've learned how to do a lot of my techniques, and that's been the awesome thing too. Is like since I've revamped my YouTube, being able to have my own product and then showing people exactly how to use it has been really helpful as well.
Yeah, I watch your videos while I'm at work.
It's productive, man.
Yeah. Well, when you work with gold and diamonds all day, and you get as good at it as I am, you can literally watch TV and set a $50,000 diamond at the same time. If there are any jewelers listening to this, do not do that for the love of God. If the feeling of pure dread you get when you hear a giant diamond crack under your tool.
I don't know that feeling, but I would assume that it's the same as having your foam armor just not go the way you want, but 10 times worse.
I would probably I'd say probably 100 is like, and I have no business doing this ever. No, I don't do that. I don't set giant diamonds like that very often. I'm just like sizing rings and stuff like that when I'm watching you guys make stuff on YouTube. No, but yeah, man. I was like, because last year at Dragon Con we were hanging out, then you were wearing your tech priest, because I ended up handling for you for several hours, slowly watching you die inside.
Yes, which I still greatly appreciate your help on there. The handlers are the unsung heroes of the cosplay world, and yeah, being inside of a fully functional tech priest costume in Atlanta is one of the worst things you could possibly think of.
Yeah. Yeah, no, your tech priest was pretty badass. I will say that because like another YouTube build you did, a little small series, then seeing that up front in person was pretty fantastic. Yeah. But at least I don't have to handle for you this year.
Yeah, I actually was the handler yesterday for my buddy Jason, so I was on the other side of it for a change.
Yeah. And I was there trying to turn around, you're like handing me your staff. I'm just sitting there holding it. You're like just.
It's like, is it time yet? Can we be done? But no, we had to wait for the Warhammer 40K shoot, which was like late in the day.
It took forever. Because not only did it take forever for us to get to the Marriott, to the Hilton, to get to that shoot, it took forever for that shoot to get started.
Yeah, and that's the kind of costume too. Like once you're in it, you're in it until you're done because you're not going to get it back on. Right?
I was talking. Was it talking to Dapper or was it talking? I was talking to somebody. Probably not on podcast, but last year I wore my Ranger armor to the Prop Tart meetup, and it's all leather. It's like thick 8-ounce leather armor, front and back, trench coat, a cool pack fan snapped to the back of the armor, up. And they got gauntlets on the arms and stuff, so I'm in that.
Yeah.
And you can compare wearing foam armor to wearing leather armor because you're gonna sweat either way. One's a little bit more worse than the other, but I was in that for 3 hours and I was like, I'm dying.
And that's what I was in that Warhammer stuff. That was like 6 or 7 hours total. That was pretty awful.
Yeah, I imagine. I feel your pain. Oh man. Well, shit. It was like. I could ask you how your experience was with Cosplay Melee, but I know that already. And I think everybody knows that already.
Yeah, so I say just go YouTube Cosplay Melee. It's all good for that.
Yeah.
And then we can just move on. Like, again, judge my work based on costumes that I spend 2 months on, not 3 days.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's just... But also, you were a TwitchCon contest winner, too.
Yeah, a couple years back.
Yeah,
I did that Theron Guard.
Yeah, that was... That costume, standing there by itself alone, is just imposing. Because when I first met you back in Indiana at I was like PopCon a couple years ago, you had that stood up, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah, and that wasn't even at full height. That was just the PVC skeleton in there.
Like that.
Yeah.
Even then, it was like, damn. I got right up on it, and I was looking at all the detail. Because I think you were doing a panel or something.
For those that don't know, I'm like 5'6", and I'm like 6'6" in that costume, and it's like full muscle suit, legs, I look like a monster in that thing.
Yeah.
And TwitchCon, it was a very, very, that was a trying time because back then they didn't give us a lot of notice to get the costumes done, and I had 2 months to finish that entire thing, and nobody should do that. And then what am I doing? I'm building an entire armor set in 30 days for New York Comic Con. So
well, it's for business purposes. So
it still doesn't justify me getting sleep or not sleep.
Yeah, who needs sleep? Steve needs sleep.
I need sleep. I don't get it, but I need it.
Yeah, definitely gonna be taking a nap when we're done here. I'm gonna go change and find Colin and have him give me that jar of apple moonshine. So you got the HD foam, you got a YouTube channel, you got all these awesome builds on there, and of course we got a bunch of our friends are here. Punish Props are here, Parkers and Quinn, Beer Money Props are here. All these fucking people are here at Dragon Con, and man, I'm just so happy to be here.
Yeah, if you guys have never gone to a convention before, like I tell you to go start off small. Go to a local con.
Yeah.
But every panel that I try to do, I try to ask if you could go to one convention a year, like what con would you go to? And it's always, in my opinion, it's Dragon Con.
Oh yeah.
And it's just because it's not about the convention. I don't even go to the convention.
Yeah.
It is a 5-6 day party where you just get to go and socialize with your peers, and it's literally some of the best makers in the world that you'll get to come and meet. And on the opposite side of that, maybe you're just brand new and just starting off. You get to come say hi to makers that you may admire. Like, that's the whole thing, is like, don't be intimidated. Come up, say hi, talk shop.
Yeah, because definitely it's way different than like a normal con. Because the con I met you was PopCon in Indy. I talked to your booth for a while, then we hung out a little bit afterwards at an event. But then hung out these more since then. The first time at Dragon Con last year for me, we hung out, traveled down, and hung out with all the friends and meeting all the people. Because because it's weird for me because I started meeting people who know who I was, which was a little weird for me for the first time at being Dragon Con. I'm like, I'm in Atlanta, I've never been here before.
Well, obviously, when you're walking around with an Evil Ted shirt on, they think you're Evil Ted, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had some lady walk by, like, Evil Ted. I was like, I know it's not me, but yeah. I wish Ted was here.
Yeah, I missed Ted this year.
He wasn't here last year, and he wasn't here this year because he commented on something on Instagram and was like about Dragon Con, and he's like, no, it was I posted a picture of the atrium of the Marriott going straight up because that view is just fantastic. And he's like, hey, I know that, and I was like, hey, are you gonna come again? Are you coming this year? Because I kind of want to meet you. And he's like, no, I'm not making it. I was like, man, Ted, I'm never gonna meet you.
But on the opposite end of that, though, like Odin showed up this year.
Odin showed up.
I've been a fan of Odin's for a while now, and we're friends online, but I've never got to meet him. And like first day, I saw Odin walking below. I was like, Odin, and he's like, Steve, and he came up. We talked for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, Odin's actually the one person I've hung out with more this weekend than anybody.
Super, super nice guy. If you guys don't follow Odin Makes on YouTube, be sure to do that, because Odin is he is a very, very down-to-earth guy. Yeah. He will show you guys how to make stuff. Let's say that you don't have the biggest budget in the world.
Yeah.
He has so many tips and tricks that are like, this is how you make it on a budget.
Yeah, like backyard effects stuff.
Exactly.
Because if you're not following Odin by episode 13, you should do it now because he is a fantastic human being. Because both him and William Shakespeare, so I just did an episode with him at the first one for Dragon Con. They both do backyard effects style stuff on a budget, and Even then, like they'll show you different techniques because they both make completely different. And it's why you should watch both of them because they both make different things, different ways. And that's why somebody watching you or Bill or anybody who does the YouTube thing, it's an amalgamation of different techniques that you can form into your own.
There's not one way to build anything.
No, there's a million ways to do a million things, and we all have our ways. But after a while, when we were watching, I've been watching you make stuff, Bill, Ted, Odin, Jake. I've been taking all different techniques over the years that I've been doing this and forming it into the way I do things.
Exactly.
It's been helpful as fuck. Yeah, especially with the amount of content that Bill pumps out.
Yeah, I know that they're backing off some because their pace was pretty crazy for a long time.
I think they're doing one a month.
They're dropping down to one a month, but that's still. I mean, they've got a ton of videos for you still to go check out.
Yeah, because you can literally spend weeks watching all their content, from molding and casting 101 to 3D printing to foam smithing to this to that to who knows what they got. I've watched so much of their stuff I can't remember all of it.
But that's the cool thing about our community is that most of us are very, very open to our tips and techniques, and we want people that are brand new to the hobby to learn. That's my whole point to it too. I've been doing free build threads and tutorials for years because of Harrison.
Yeah.
Vulpin Props was one of the first that I started looking at on the RPF a long time ago.
We were just talking about Harrison last episode with Jasper. We're like, you want some? It's like, you want a goal? You want something really shiny to strive to? Just go look at everything Harrison's ever made.
Yeah, Harrison is, and even though he is a year younger than me, I still look up to him.
Yeah, no, Steve Harrison's a fantastic person. I met him last year, and he was the one person last year I ran into the most. And this year it's Odin, and obviously I've run into you guys, you and Pope, and Bill and Britt, and Brazen and Bold.
I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like we're constantly down there because we want to talk shop with all of our with all of our peers, but we want to make those connections with fans that maybe watched our stuff but they've never interacted. It's like we wouldn't do what we do without those people. Fans mean everything.
Yeah, met Paragon Props. He's been hanging out.
Yeah, Tony's amazing too.
Yeah, it was what was the dude's name? Something angry but he makes Witcher swords. And I was talking to him, and it's like I'm going to be making a aluminum Witcher sword for a friend of mine next year.
Nice.
He's like, I'm going to send you those files so you have a reference. He's like, okay, I'll just print them out and I can use size reference that way. That would be fucking perfect. Plus, I have a 3D print of a sword I can hang on my wall that I'll never take to a con because that's just 3D printed like long weapons. Like
don't survive.
Yeah,
they don't survive
because like all my smaller hand props I brought besides my foam stuff like my shish kebab, my bladed tire iron, and my Negan bat. All my pistols are 3D printed. Those are small kit prints that are easily put together and painted, but aren't super huge and cumbersome that if you drop it, it's going to shatter into a million pieces.
Hey, you know what doesn't shatter?
HD foam.
HD foam.
Yeah. Oh, that HD foam. That sweet, sweet HD foam. I got so much stuff I'm going to be making from that. I'm going to be making that tech shotgun somewhat soon because I got with Cyberpunk 2077 coming out and meeting Mike Pondsmith and one of the Cyberpunk developers. I've been talking to them. I was like, there's so much shit from that game I'm gonna make.
Well, the awesome thing about that tech shotgun, I got free blueprints up at SKSProps.com.
Yeah, so if you want to make a badass tech shotgun, definitely go download Steve's files and have at it. Make sure you tag HD Foam in your comments.
And that was one of the really cool builds too. Because that was the one where the first video was me building all of it, and then I took it to Emerald City, and Bill and I finished it. On his channel. So
yeah. God, there's so many. All of our friends, they collaborate so much. It's just so awesome. It's great.
Which about that, Odin, his next two builds should be out of HD Foam, and he's super excited about it.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it because now that since this is gonna be out after your announcement, he was like, had a phone call. Was talking to some shop while I was finishing up, packing and everything, and he's like, talking about the affiliate stuff and things, and he's like got the phone. He's like, well, if you don't know that but knew about that, it's like, well, you know now, and just don't say anything. It's like, I've known for like 3 months. Because Pope was at PCA, and he was telling me about what you guys have going on. I was like, that is dope.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. We're very excited about it. It's just that whole thing of reaching more towards the community, giving back to the community. Like,
yeah,
the whole thing is like the way that businesses are run and all that. Like, I really, honestly, do not hardly make anything on the foam. I have other ways that I have a living and do all this. My biggest thing with the foam is like, this is kind of like my Bob Ross.
Yeah.
This is my legacy towards giving back to this community. I want them to have the best product possible to build what they can at a really good price.
Yeah, and as time goes on and as members of our community fall out and new people join in, it will still be a main staple, because if it continues to be a thing through Blick, and it will be there for a long time. And as more people come in, you start building more foam stuff. They'll start being introduced to all the different things, and just to be there forever, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, look at how many people love Bob Ross now. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm Bob Ross, but dang it, if people could just love me like Bob Ross, I mean, I'll take care of little squirrels.
No, Evil Ted is the Bob Ross of foam. That's what we've gathered his nickname to be from the communities that we're part of. Yeah, but it's the same thing I'm gonna do for this podcast. Try to turn this podcast into a business to where I have this out and I talk to all kinds of people and have this as like possibly maybe a reference tool to get an insight of how a maker actually is, because on your YouTube you're happy-go-lucky, and then it's no longer Happy Steve. I'm gonna be me for a while.
Yeah, and that there is some of that as well. It is difficult sometimes to always be on.
Yeah. For sure.
And like you're saying, like, there are days I work basically every single day of the week.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really take vacations, because I'm constantly dealing with the phone business, prop business, doing YouTube videos, tutorials, something. And it's like, man, I could be running on a couple hours, but as soon as I get in front of that camera, it's, hey guys, Steve here at SKS Props, and today we're going to build blank, fill it in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's. I was like actually out that I know you, that when I see you on camera, I know it's like, that's not real.
That's like Steve's.
That's Steve.
Steve is probably really, really tired right now, but he is doing his darndest to make a video that looks good.
Oh yeah, and so like all the videos you've been making since you started your YouTube channel has been badass. You've done painting, mix-up tutorials with Brittany Ganoza from Ganoza Costuming to.
That was really fun.
Yeah, that was very enjoyable for me to watch. Mainly because like I know me and you paint similar, because I've kind of like gathered some of your techniques into my own, but way Brittany paints, because I was
completely different.
I was hanging out with her at Gen Con. I sat down in her painting tutorial panel, and I was just watching her paint. Just because I watched you paint on Steve's stream, but I kind of need to see this in person. Because every time because she was letting me interject and add some stuff in both her foam 101 and her painting, because every time I brought up Liquitex heavy body acrylics, she's like, and there's that.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing too. Like we said, like, we all have our own ways of doing stuff, and what the funny thing is, like, since that video I did with Brittany and how she paints, I now offered 2 different types of Psycho Mask. One that's painted to my kind of more traditional way, and I actually have one now that's painted like how we did in that video, but I use Liquitex paints because I can paint it in half the time than using hers. But that's fine. She does her thing, I do mine. And
it was actually very informative in her panel at Gen Con. Kind of gave me a little bit more insight of color shading and stuff. Because like literally, like I kind of do exactly what you do. After I seal and heat seal and plastic dip it, I base coat everything. Then I build off of that. You know, like spray it with like Rust-Oleum aluminum for like the shish kebab I built. Like the blades Rust-Oleum aluminum paint, and I just stippled. It was like burnt umber or burnt sienna, rust, heavy body acrylics on there for the rust. Then added a little bit of black in there to mix it up, get a little bit darker colors. Because with the stippling, it made the rust look more authentic. Because I didn't really feel like having to go in and trying to do the glue and the iron powder, then trying to remember the mixture to make the stuff activate. I was like, I can just do this with paint. I was like, what's Steve do? Okay.
Big fan of that raw sienna.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Now I was also like you also did like you did a casting video of your Psycho Mask with our friend Lauren from Thousand Faces.
Yeah. Ethan and Lauren are very good friends of mine, and it's cool to be able to again collaborate like that. Like she's not a builder, like she's not a prop maker, but she had a blast learning that side of it because like they're amazing in the regards that I can make just about any costume and put it on them, and they are actors, they are cosplayers, they are professionals, and they make my stuff look amazing.
Yeah,
and that's where that collaboration, like again, me giving my Psycho costume to Jason to wear for the weekend. Mm-hmm. He looks amazing in it, and he had a blast. Fantastic.
Yeah, and also like this was actually before I actually knew them and became friends with them. You know, it was when I met you. Ethan wore your Chaos Blades. They walked around as Kratos. You know, and he's like, I was walking around the con with Iron Grizzly Props, Freddie, and he was talking to a guy. It was like probably like some kind of donation thing, and I was actually looking at that sitting right next to the Ethan at his booth, looking at this really giant 3D print in the next booth, and Freddie was like, "Hey, come here," and I was like, just joking, I was like, "Hey, shut your whore mouth," and literally the next thing, Ethan said, "Yeah, shut your whore mouth," in his Kratos voice. Freddie would just kind of looked at me, and I was like, "Hey, man, you know, you gotta listen to Kratos, man." But it was like weird. It was a donation thing for the homeless of Indy, I believe, if I remember correctly. So I went and checked out what that was all about. But yeah, no, Laura and Ethan, they're amazing people. I'm actually friends with them now since the last Gen Con, because I had my son with me, and every time my son sees Lauren, because she gave him a little Harley Quinn Lego fig, so every time he sees her now, he runs up to her.
Yeah,
he's like waves at her.
And that's the cool thing. Most of the people in our community are just down to earth, really good people.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So if you don't know Ethan and Lauren from Thousand Faces, there we're checking out. Fantastic people, great actors. They make cosplay look phenomenal.
They make my work look phenomenal.
Yeah. yeah. They definitely do. They definitely do. You got any insight on any other builds that you got coming up that you might want to share?
Man, at this point, it's honestly I'm running with everything that is thrown at me. It's like I don't even have time to plan anymore. I've been so busy with all of this stuff. It's literally, it's like Monday or in 2 days I have to go start a brand new costume that I don't really know what it looks like. It's in my head, and hopefully I can turn this thing out.
Like inside the concept of that, or
it's an original creation just out of my products, but like the feel I want is very kind of Dark Souls / Diablo-esque. At least that's what's in my head.
That would be dope.
And
because I know Pope's doing armor.
Yeah.
He sent me some pictures of all the pieces he's made so far, and it's got a nice little HD like symbol in the front.
Yeah, and that's Pope's version, and but I will be making one for him to wear at New York Comic-Con, because they want me behind the booth, really just talking to people that are maybe brand new to this whole thing, and getting people involved and showing them that it's not all that difficult. You just gotta jump in there.
Yeah, I need to make it up there sometime to New York Comic-Con. I got a YouTuber friend up there who lives up there. He does a lot of Skyrim gaming, and he's like, I pop in his Twitch chat, and he recognizes. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, I was like, I was talking to him. I was like, "You're the only person that I've come across that I follow who does all this stuff." And I was like, well, "Yeah." I'm doing I was planning on doing it for this year. It's, but life and trying to figure out stuff with work and everything, it fell to the wayside. But I'm going to be making a Dawn Guard heavy armor from the Skyrim DLC.
I remember you talking to me about that.
Yeah, I'm actually legitimately going to start doing it after I get back from this. I got to make the helmet, pauldrons, knee pads, everything out of leather. Got some sewing to do. I got to make a gambeson and a faux leather cuirass with 10 nickel plates. I'm going hardcore.
Yeah. I know how that is. You got plans and stuff gets in there. I really wanted to have a full-scale Warhammer 40K orc for this year's Dragon Con, but I was just like, I can't do it. Yeah. Like 3 months out, we had a group and we're like, all right, can we do this? And I was like, I can't. Yeah. Like, you have to know those limitations too. I mean, it's like, don't push yourself to where it's a point that it's unhealthy or anything like that.
Yeah, no, I gotta
do what you can do.
Yeah, I've got the leather gathered, and I just gotta get it. I gotta organize my templates and find all my templates for the Dawn Guard armor. But for till the beginning, probably until February, I'm gonna be taking a break, and because it's gonna be my busy season at work, and also I'm going hardcore back at the gym. I'm gonna lose this dad bod gut and get in shape for fucking change, so that way when I do costumes, my spare tire ain't sticking out.
That's Harrison. Harrison comes up to me a couple days ago. He's like, dude, he's like, have you lost weight? You've been working out? And I'm like, it's called stress, my friend.
Yeah.
It's called business stress. I'm like, I've lost weight, but not maybe in the best way.
No, I had some stuff going on in my life that caused me to barely eat and drink anything for 3 months, and I lost 30 pounds with stress and all the shit that I was going through. And it's like, well, this is kind of cool. I lost all this weight, but that was the worst way I could have done that.
Yeah, a lot of that too is I can tell that, with me and a lot of other people, if you don't see builds coming, there's usually something going on in that person's life. That's the thing. Reach out, see how they're doing. Because I know that my happy place is it's in my shop, zoning out and just building, just grabbing sheets of foam, grabbing some barge, cement, and just slapping stuff together.
Yeah. Also, that is for me. Is I've been finding it really hard to actually get into my shop after I get home from work and after my kid goes to bed. It's just I got stuff I gotta make, and it's man, did I really want to do that to myself for the next 3.5 hours when I have to go to bed? It's I could do work research, play Red Dead.
Oh, yes, the work research video game method.
Yeah, we were supposed to do a Red Dead group this year for Dragon Con, which I'm kind of okay with us not doing because the period style clothing I would have had to order would not have been as accurate as I wanted. But I did a 3D printed Schofield revolver that I got from Treywick Designs. Smoothed that out as much as possible. Base coated it in in between a flat and gloss black with airbrush wicked colors, and I did the graphite technique that Eric had been developing. Then I showed Harrison that because I was super proud of it. Breakaway, everything's all complete. It was and a few other things I was doing in graphite. He's like, yeah, I did that about 5 years ago. And I was like, damn it, Harrison.
That's because Harrison's amazing.
Yeah. Harrison is badass. Well, to very crappably, or that wasn't a word, to very, very shittily segue into the point of this podcast is that everybody has a beginning, has a thing that struck them that made them want to do what it is that we do. What happened, Steve? You can talk to me. We're friends.
That made me do what I want to do?
Yeah, why did you become a maker?
Man, I've always been a maker of some sort. I went before all of this, I went to school for art. I was an illustration major. I was a painter. You know, I have a degree in all of that.
Yeah.
And so that's why when people come to me and they're like, "Dude, your paint jobs on your props are amazing," I'm like, "I'd hope so. I've got 20 plus years of painting experience like under my belt. Like,
Yeah.
I've always preached that. Like, I'm a good maker, but I'm a really, really good painter.
Yeah.
And so like I've always been making, but the way that I got into it, I didn't know what cosplay was until 6 years ago. Like I was always into comic books and like nerd culture stuff, but
Yeah.
I never went out and went to conventions or anything like that. And my buddies and I, we played Borderlands every single night at you know, we all worked at Lowe's at that time. I was an appliance salesperson, you know, and we'd go home and we'd play Borderlands 2 for hours. And my buddy Luke suggested, like, hey, why don't we go, like, Planet Comic Con in Kansas City is going to Bartle Hall this first year. Like, they're really expanding it. It's like, we should all go to the con. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. I've never been. He's like, we should all dress up like our favorite characters. And I was like, what? And he's like, no, that's what people do. They go to the cons and they dress up. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to show up dressed up and, like, everyone's going to make fun of me type of it. You know, it's like, you guys are pranking me. And, but no, I looked into it. I looked into cosplay. I looked into the replica prop form. I learned how to sculpt and mold and cast and do all this stuff. And I created my Psycho Mask, and I created a full-scale Buzz Axe, like 22 individually cast pieces, like one of the first things I ever did. And I went to this con, and people like lost it. They were like, holy crap, like your costume's like amazing. Like, how many years have you been doing this? I'm like, I've been 3 months. Like, this is my first costume. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this is the first thing I've ever done. And I got like interviewed by TV and Sci-Fi Channel and all that, and met all of these really awesome makers at that time. And I was like, man, there's maybe something to this.
Yeah.
And from then, it's just every year something new and amazing happens, and it just continues to grow that. And because of me playing video games with my buddies at Lowe's and going to a con, I now have the ability to bring a line of foam products, or actually just cosplay products, to the market. You know,
It's badass, man.
I went from going from a guy that didn't know what cosplay was to being hopefully being an integral part of helping people in the future get really good at this hobby.
Yeah, I will say that you are an integral part in this community now, with all the things that you're doing, and it is fantastic. I appreciate everything you do for this community, and also as a friend, you're a badass, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, let's see, where are we at? We're doing pretty good. We can keep this under an hour. Right at. One thing I try to do, I don't always do it because I forget, but I've been remembering doing it the last couple episodes. If you had any advice for somebody wanting to get into prop and costume making, or a beginner of prop and costume making, what advice would you give them?
The biggest thing I'd say is that I have people all the time email me about how do I become a full-time prop and costume maker, which I will say is not easy. It's not going to be easy at all. You will work harder than you will ever have in your entire life. Like, I do not work 40-hour weeks. I work well more than that.
Yeah.
And you've got to have a drive if you want to do it full-time.
Oh, yeah.
If that's not where you're at, do it as a hobby. Have fun with it. You know, the whole point to that is, like, just grab some foam, go to your shop, and just honestly play around with it. Like, you're going to get frustrated. You're going to mess up.
Oh, yeah.
Things are not going to go right. So make sure you pick a character that you really, really like, because you're going to get pissed. But every time you do that, you're going to learn from it.
Yeah, for sure. Because I have a full-time job, and I do it as a hobby. And from my hobby, I now have enough friends and connections throughout the community. If there's something that I needed to know, I can talk to you, Pope. I could talk to Ted, Odin, a lot of people, you know. But yeah, if there's something that you want to do, make sure you definitely love it, because like that's why I make a lot of Fallout stuff, is because I love Fallout. Fallout and Skyrim were like my main thing for the longest time. But now it's probably going to be a lot of cyberpunk stuff.
Yeah, cyberpunk does look
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah, and that's the thing though. It's like go to these things. You know, I am a complete introvert. I would rather be 9 times out of 10 in my shop by myself building. I'm happy.
Yeah.
But the friends that I've made over the last 6 years are closer than any of the friends that I'd ever made in high school. You know, these people are part of your family. These people are part of your community, and that's really what it needs to be known as. It is a family. It is a community. We're all here to support each other.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, just like I was talking with the last couple episodes, like we share our info. You know, it's not like the movie industry back in the day where like we won't say anything because that's our livelihood. We will share any info that we have, and if somebody messages me, asks me a question, which it happens a lot, and that's why Freddie was my apprentice for a long time, because he'd ask me a million questions, and I was like, you're just going to be my apprentice until you're tired of doing it. But it's like if I don't know anything about what they're asking, I'm pretty sure that I know somebody who does. Like if I didn't know a certain thing about painting Borderland masks, I'd be like, you need to go talk to Steve. He knows everything about that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Everybody's got their specialties. Everybody's a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, especially like with like you, like yourself, Ted, Bill and Punch Props, with the YouTube tutorials. There's so much knowledge out there that even
wasn't there when I started.
No,
when I started, there was no Punish Props. There was no Evil Ted on YouTube. There was no Odin. Like, we all learned by just going to our shop and messing around until we figured something out.
Yeah, I was when I first started, it was about 5 years ago. I was like messaged a friend who made some Halo armor, and it was back then when I was single, I was like living by myself, didn't have a kid, and like I had some extra money laying around. I was like, hey man, I wanted some Fallout armor. Well, let's talk. I got some money. Let's play around. And he never got back to me, and as I started looking around, I was playing Fallout New Vegas, wearing the Ranger armor in the game. It was like, that looks really cool. I kind of want one. So then I kind of started Google, like YouTubing it, like see if anybody out like just how to make then that helmet. Then I saw this kid made one with some cardboard and a Darth Vader helmet. So I very regretfully went and found a Darth Vader helmet and cut it apart and glued some cardboard to try to match what he was making to make my own. Then deal was not working out because I had just started messing with fiberglass and resin at the same time to incorporate that and to make it sure it doesn't fall apart. And then it just wasn't working at all. So like, okay, I'm gonna start over. I'm gonna put this to the side. Then the next one looked a little bit better in cardboard. Then I got to the point so I was like, no, this isn't gonna work. So I put that one to the side. Then I found Pepicura, and it just took off from there. Because there's so much stuff in Pepicura you can do for fiberglass and resin, almost like transferring it to foam.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I still have both those shitty cardboard attempts at the Ranger helmets in my room, and
just to remind yourself,
and to remind me in a
where
little
you
slots,
came from.
like that's where I started. That's why I did this, So make sure you definitely love what you're gonna make, because if you try to make something you're not gonna love, you might just deter yourself from becoming an awesome maker. You look like you're gonna fall asleep, Steve.
Man, it's been a long Dragon Con. Yeah, for those that don't know, Dragon Con goes all day, all night, and if you get a couple hours in, you're pretty lucky.
Yeah, I got maybe 6 last night. At about 3 o'clock, everybody went back around to the rooms. As I was coming back out, because we were doing Braveheart, I just went and got the blue core makeup off my face and cleaned myself up and put a shirt on and just came back to do final rounds as everybody was going back to the room. So I saw Odin, saw everybody, just said goodnight and walked back, and my room turned into the party room.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Till
Apparently, my roommates are all up to like 6 this morning, but I was out at like 3, and I did not hear any of it.
wow. I feel bad because like I know I was Colin. You got me really drunk. So we're all sitting and talking in the general living room area of the room because we're in a suite, and in like this little corner by the bar, this guy Chad was trying to sleep because he had to get up, do the parade, and go straight home. Then he's like, we're all still just we're trying not to be loud. We're trying to shush the people that were being loud, but around 6 o'clock rolled around. I was like, well, if I knew this was going to happen, I would have made different arrangements. And like, man, I am sorry. This was not supposed to happen. Then it was like shit at 6:30. We gotta go to bed.
Yeah, that's Dragon Con for you.
Yeah.
I'll sleep next week when I'm not building armor.
Yeah. Well, I gotta go work probably like 10 straight days, so I'll sleep after that. But next year, I am actually gonna shoot for getting my own room. For sure. Or getting one roommate, because rooming with 9 people is
Not the coolest.
not the coolest. It's not so bad this year because last year we were in a smaller room and there was 11 of us, and we were every night I roll in, I have to step over somebody. I'm wearing armor, try not to be loud, trying to take off my armor as quietly as possible, and just crawling up in my cot and passing out. And then this year, and I'm thinking like I need to not do that to myself anymore.
But yeah, man, that's Dragon Con.
Yeah,
That's the way it goes.
It's an experience, and by golly, I'll be back next year.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, this is too fun not to go to. You know, even if it's the only thing that I make it to next year out of state, I'll be fine with that. Because C2E2's in February, I can't go to that because of work. Then, other than that, I just got my home cons. Well, there again, we have another episode down at Dragon Con with my good friend Stephen K. Smith from SKS Props. You can find his HD foam on sksprops.com. How's that for you?
Yeah, that's pretty decent. And also, again on the website, I've got links to all of the YouTube channels, all the build threads, everything. And then, I'm one of those makers, guys. If you ever have any questions on anything, feel free to hit me up online, and I may not get back to you right away, but I will eventually get back to you, because that's a big part of what I do, is giving back by really helping others that are new to this.
Well, hopefully we'll be back soon with another guest at Dragon Con, and if not, well, I guess not, but you can find Steve on all the social medias in the link down below. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and we will see you guys next time.